All right, we're live with Standup, starting with me and Fede, and then we started a little bit early, so we might have some other people hop in, hop out along the way. So, Fede, what's the latest?
Okay. I've been working on the updating the Stripe subscription. I created an endpoint to do it manually in case we need to like update it ourselves, just in case. But every time we receive like an incoming invoice, like I think we get an event 7 days before, we will update the amount of seats on your Slack workspace, just so we charge with the updated seats. And well, I improved some error logs that we were just printing and not using the right functions. I did some small changes to the Spanish README, but it was pretty good. I don't know. Did you do it with uh, ChatGPT
It was
with
done with
Haley?
Sweet AI.
Oh,
So, Alice got it working now. We have it on our on-prem version, so we have unlimited GPT-4
oh,
tickets.
nice.
I had it do. I said create a Flask test suite. Keeps running into path issues where it's just not able to get the right stuff. And I can actually recreate exactly the issue that it runs into. So that's Alice's next thing is like get that going for our unit testing inside of at least Slackbot.
Okay.
So we'll see how that goes. But
That's
if you have small stuff that you need to get done, unlimited, we're paying for it through our own OpenAI API key. So if you have something that you want done, try it there, see how it does it.
nice.
If it does a really bad job, we can provide feedback to the sweet guys, and they can fix their bugs. So
Okay. Yeah, I might try it. Not much. I've been checking the smart lock sessions, but what I noticed is that I think some of them go to like the pricing page from our like marketing website, and then they try to click our logo just to go
mm,
back, I guess, to the main website, and that doesn't work. It goes to like the home, but for the billing side, not to the marketing website.
mm.
I don't know if we should change that or
Um, we could bring over the whole header for
yeah,
that's one thing. You wouldn't have that header once you're in the app. You wouldn't have it in the actual app, but when you're just like jumping from one to the other, that's why I was like trying to push on to that site continuity of the look and feel,
yeah,
right? And you don't go to a whole. It doesn't look like you're on a whole another app, even though it is. And then also keeping the headers the same. So if you could just steal the HTML from the marketing website and plop it over, that'd be great. But yeah, this is like why we have
okay,
Smart Look is to
yeah,
see where they're struggling and like, okay, I see what you're trying to do. I can make
yeah.
that happen. Clearly, that you're expecting to go back. So the other thing we can do, I think, when you click pricing, it opens it up in a new tab, but I can also do that so that it always just puts it in another tab. So I can do that today.
Yeah, that can be like a temporary
Pricing new
fix.
tab. Yeah. And I've been looking at, we have the over the weekend got testimonials, people who have tried Haley, and then how does it help them. So we'll have that on the website. I, I was about to do it, and I know how to do like sliders and stuff, but I was like, oh, it's gonna look really bad if I do this. So I reached out to the people that made the website in the first place, and that they'll make it look good, so it won't look
Nice.
like complete garbage. Because I started doing it, and I was like, oh, this is just going to be looking really bad.
Not gonna look.
So it's better to just for me to pay however much money to get them to do it, so it doesn't look bad.
Nice.
All right, Yura, how's it going?
Going well. Um, I it started earlier than scheduled, right?
Yeah, we started like 5 minutes earlier.
Yeah,
You're
that's
on
why.
time. You're on time. We're just early birds. If you show up on time, you're late. If you show up early, you're on time. And if you show up, if you decide not to show up, then whatever.
I like this schema.
So how's semantic search?
Yeah, I'm kind of doing the same stuff that I posted yesterday. The deployment of different environments is a little bit of a problem because so we use Google Tasks to execute tasks asynchronously, and for the local environment, we either have to imitate the service of Google Tasks or we need to communicate with Google Tasks that is created for development purposes, right?
Hmm.
So I'm kind of choosing between these two. If you have any thoughts, so we want to limit the number of external services that we use for local development, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah. If you're
all of
doing
that
a
requires
local,
permissions.
yeah, you want to have the local version, right? Because if someone like Elijah, we're not giving Elijah access to our Google Cloud. We're not giving, he's a contributor. He's not going to have access to everything, right? So it's got to be a local version.
That in that case, we'll have to imitate the Google Cloud Task Service, right?
So they're in. I don't know. You have to find something that's threads or something that can replicate that.
Yeah,
But
that's
the local version doesn't have to go and do it um, for multiple different workspaces, just one.
actually a local version can do it synchronously.
Yeah.
For simplicity, that's one of the options.
Yeah, we should go
so,
with an easy one. Yeah, I think that's
so
okay.
I'm working on that, and also we had conversation with Elijah on this. How do we call this feature? Communications graph, or do we have a brand name for that?
If you got an idea, let me know. We might go with what your idea is. Like I can ask
Yeah,
Haley.
so
Like, give me some marketing
yeah,
names for.
that's probably the best way to go. So I've shared with you the main concern about that, which is that we don't have access to the number of messages in direct channel chats. And
Yeah.
so it seems that the only information we can get is from public conversations, the same that we get for semantic search. Is it enough for this feature to be good? We need to think through that.
Public. So, like at an organization, even with ours, we should be pushing for as much public communication rather than private dialogue, right?
Mm-hmm.
The more you push for public communication, the more you're going to have information that Haley can access to, which access to the information database, and you can get your questions answered much better. So, I think it's still we might not be able to show like, oh, these people are talking right privately, but
Yep.
if we see that they don't talk at all publicly, they're not contributing back to the organization. They're just making themselves better, right? So I still think there's value there, but let's have Elijah work on it, get to an alpha state, and then we show that to potential customers. And I was talking to Jacob, today I did my onboarding for Slack community leader for Santa Barbara and Ventura, which is like 35 minutes south of here. And I was just like, yeah, I talked to someone mentioned that problem. I was like, that's what we're working on. And then Elijah was like, oh, I'd love to work on that. Right. So, just talking to people in Slack is leading that. Now, if we create that product, alpha version, beta version, and then I share with the community leaders of Slack, right? And there's a bunch of them. There's a lot of community leaders in all the different cities, and they can use it in their personalized workspaces and give it to them for free. And then maybe they do a talk about it at one of their events, right? Like that really will help
Mm-hmm.
percolate Haley, right?
Yeah.
So anything where we can do it like help people make their community better will help us push Haley.
Yeah. Another tricky question on that product is how to detect conversations. An easy way is, of course, to use threads when a few people are is communicating in a thread. It's clear that they're having a conversation. But what if they just do that in a channel without threads? How do we know that they talking to each other if they don't mention each other?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to have to do like a open API call each time we have two, non-threads and be like, is this an answer to this question, right? Like that'll get expensive. So
Yeah,
um,
we cannot use GPT for all messages.
yeah, that would be expensive. So let's just do within threads to start, and then we can think of other ideas afterwards. Like if
So
you're talking within that thread, that's like, okay, that's communication.
we can try different schemas. One of them, for instance, could be is that if two messages go after each other in a short period of time, we think that it's that they relate to each other, right?
Yeah. So, how in your semantic search, you're creating the summaries, right? And as part of the summaries, you can also do like, give me values of communications happening between people,
Yep.
and then also give me a description of how that communication is. It's light, it's playful, it's
It's also a
negative.
way to go. We can cut channels into like blocks of messages and ask ChatGPT to like summarize conversations in all these blocks for us, and then use these blocks to build a graph, right? We can do not for each message, but for like hundreds of messages.
Mhm.
Maybe it's not that expensive.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that might work. Yeah.
It's an open question, yeah.
Yeah, the
all
easy
right.
one is just using threads or like mentions. Or maybe if you mention someone and then he replies, you know that they are interacting.
Yep.
Things like
I
that.
think people rarely use reply feature in Slack because it requires too many motions.
Yeah.
So Fede, have you gotten a chance to talk with Leon? Do we have him up and
He
operational?
didn't reach back. He said he was following the README. I sent him the video to set everything up, but yeah, I might ping him today again.
Okay. Well, it'll be good feedback to hear um, for a developer. How easy, hard was it for setting it up? I know our interns are pretty much all struggle with that .env file. That .env file is a killer for some reason. I don't know. When I did it, it worked. I didn't have a problem with mine. So because they're doing Windows, they're doing I think Jag Rogers doing Linux. I think it's using Ubuntu.
Yeah, but I'm using Windows.
Oh, you're
I don't
using
know.
Windows.
Yeah.
Elijah is also trying to set up Heli as Slack bot, and he's using Windows, and he's experiencing a strange error that I've never seen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, have
Well,
them post an engineering or not engineering in the support channel in
Hit
Haley AI.
yeah, maybe I can
support.
help.
Okay. If he doesn't resolve the issue, I'll ask him to post it in the support channel.
All right. I have my one-on-one with Leon later after this meeting. So I'll see where he's at and see if we can get him going um, to crank out stuff. All right. Anything else?
No, I'm good.